So today I want to share with you some thoughts about a few different yoga poses that are very similar but have some inherent differences, and just some tips on, as you're practicing these or if you were instructing someone in how to do them, just some key things to bear in mind so that you do them correctly. Let's get onto our mats and take a look. Hey Flint, you going to come with me? Yes. Okay. So the first pose we are going to look at is called Sphinx pose. Now Sphinx pose is done, we start on the belly, and what we're going to do is we're going to come up onto the elbows. Now ideally we want the elbows under the shoulders, so it's a good idea to kind of wrap your forearms together, thank you Flint, and then just swivel your arms out in front of you so that your elbows are in line with your shoulders. Now a good thing is to sometimes slide the elbows a little bit forwards and then, excuse me dog, and then pull them in slightly so we can lift up through the chest here and push down into the floor. And we get a bit more of a squeeze in the back. Now just notice where your feet are. Try not to have them too wide. Closer together is better, maybe toes, big toes touching. All right, so we're lifting up through the chest. Notice your shoulders. Try not to hunch them forwards. We want to roll them back and lengthen through this space here between the neck and the shoulders, and lifting. And if we can, looking forwards, maybe not looking up necessarily if our neck's a bit tight. And if we need to, we can look down and just lengthen through the neck there. So Sphinx pose, we just stay pausing here, breathing. Feeling the belly expand as you inhale, and on the exhale just gently press through the elbows, forearms and wrists and hands to keep allowing that chest to move forward. So we're getting a squeeze in the back and a stretch through the belly, okay? And this is going to feel different as we go through the different poses that I'm going to show you. Lovely. All right, so taking one more breath here, and then exhale, just gently coming down, taking a rest on your mat. Lovely. All right, so the next pose I'd like to show you is Cobra pose. Now Cobra is quite complex. A lot of people do it incorrectly, and I'll show you some of those mistakes that can happen when we do Cobra. So the best way to start with Cobra is to start face down and bring your hands in beside your chest, and we want to tuck those elbows in. So see how my elbows are pulling back and my shoulders are pulling back slightly as well. Now I see a lot of people doing Cobra with the feet either turning outwards or really wide, and more traditionally it's done with the toes touching, so big toes are together here. All right, so we're squeezing the elbows back, rolling the shoulders down, big toes are together, and we're going to just take a breath in. And as we exhale, just gently lifting the head off the floor. We start with the top part of the spine to lift, and then feel into the thoracic spine. So cervical spine, thoracic spine. Elbows are squeezing, and we just can hold here and breathe. Feeling that breath. Now we're going to feel this version more in the back because it's engaging through the muscles in the spine. Okay, and then taking a breath in and exhale, gently lowering down. Lovely, and just relax again for a moment there. Now, we often see people do Cobra when they come all the way up and they're up here like so. And I've been doing Cobra like this for a while too, but we tend to see people with shoulders crunching up here. So this is what we don't want. We don't want people to have their shoulders up around their ears or too far forward. So ideally, when we're practicing this pose, we're going to take a breath in again, squeeze those elbows, exhale, just doing that first part that we just did of holding, using the muscles of the spine, so I'm not pushing with my hands at all. And then we can take a breath in, and on the exhale, we start to lift a little more, start to press into the hands, keeping those shoulders away from the ears. Now you might get this far, the elbows can still be bent. We want to try and keep that pubic bone pressing into the floor, okay? And we can look forwards or slightly downwards. And this is quite strong in the arms. If we come up a little more, we're still trying to press that pubic bone down into the mat, trying to get the shoulders away from the ears, and moving the chest forwards whilst keeping the toes together at the back. And breathing and holding here. So we're going to feel a lot more through the back, the lower back especially. So if you do have any lower back pain, or not, are you doing this with people with lower back pain, then just go back to the more basic version perhaps. And with shoulders back, neck is long, and there is a possibility for maybe us looking up to the ceiling, but just noticing if that's too strong to bring it back to looking forwards. Okay. So coming all the way down, have a rest there. Okay, so I'd like to offer an in-between version of Sphinx and Cobra, which is, I think, commonly called seal pose, and a couple of variations of that may be useful for you, or if you're teaching in a class, would be helpful for your students too. So I like to do what I call cactus arms, so making right angles with the arms either side of me on the mat. So elbows out at 90 degrees. Again, we do want to keep the big toes together, but if you find that people have back pain, they will struggle to get the toes together. So just bear that in mind, okay? And we start with the forehead on the mat, and the same kind of principle applies. We're going to breathe in and exhale, start to lift the head and chest first without pushing with the hands, and then keep breathing out. We lift up more, trying to straighten the arms. Now my lower belly and hips are on the mat as I press up. My shoulders aren't crunching around my ears. I want to draw those shoulders down and move the chest forwards. Lovely. And then breathe in, coming back to the floor, and just relax there for a moment. So that's with the arms at 90 degrees either side of us. If you were wanting a different version, you could say have your arms in Sphinx pose and then just shuffle them out a little bit wider. And from there we can breathe in and exhale, press up that way. So again, my hips and pelvis are on the floor and I'm squeezing into the back, shoulders are down, chest is forwards. So that would be a slightly stronger version to the one with the arms out a bit wider. Okay, so they're just some things to consider when you're practicing Sphinx, Cobra and seal pose. Just noticing where the hand position goes, how that changes the squeeze in the back and the stretch through the belly. And these are great exercises to do to work the belly and the back as well. Just being very careful to notice where people struggle the most. Is it the shoulders creeping up? Is it the feet spreading apart? Is it, they can't quite open through the chest and push that chest forwards as they come up off the floor. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful. If you still have questions about practicing these poses, please leave a comment and I'll be more than happy to respond either in another comment or in another video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.